All right, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Century Center Cinema. We are so glad you're here tonight. Anybody here see this film when it was first released in 1928? What's his name?
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller. Let's hear it for Frank Miller, who saw it. Thank you for coming, Frank. Don't give away the ending.
And the film we're about to see tonight, Steamboat Bill Jr., is famous for the stunt. It was done in one continuous shot, a single take. There was no expectation by any of the people who put this stunt together and then Keaton executing. None of them expected to do it again. And there's no camera tricks, no editing. What you see is what actually happened there on the set if you were a witness back in 1927 when it was done. And another thing that's worth mentioning is that Walt Disney studied both Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin to learn how to pull off sight gags with an element of personality. It's interesting to note that this film, Steamboat Bill Jr., was released in 1928, May, and Walt Disney's first animated cartoon starring Mickey Mouse came out that November, a few months later. Do you remember the title of that film? Steamboat Willie.
He was born into a vaudeville family. His father and mother were touring, and he was on the stage really at 6 months, right?
Well, not quite. Well, actually, yes. He might, like in the baby basket. Yeah, in the baby basket, not doing much at 6 months, but yeah, actually being brought on stage. The family were friends of Harry Houdini, and there's a legend that it was actually Houdini who gave Joseph Frank Keaton the nickname Buster.
Because?
Because he took quite a little tumble as a little baby, and Houdini witnessed it or heard about it and said, wow, that was quite a buster that your little son just took, and the name stuck. That's the legend anyway.
And his career lasted into the late 60s when he died, and some of his last films were the Beach Blanket Bingo films, where he would play a Native American and doing some Simon Pure beer commercials as well. There's a reason that they turned this end of the film into a cyclone, because originally it was going to be a flood.
Huge flood with flood disasters and related flood stunts, but right before this there were actual floods going on in Mississippi, which is where the film takes place. The fictional placement of the film is Mississippi, and the people in control of the film thought it would be too painful and even offensive if this film showed actual flooding scenes and flooding accidents when real flooding had just happened in Mississippi. So Keaton had already designed stunts around a flood theme and a flood medium, and had to creatively reconcoct the situation and what was called at the time the bits of business to go with a cyclone event rather than flooding. There were definitely cranes on the set, and you can see still pictures of some of the behind-the-scenes making of the film with all kinds of large cranes that were not only hoisting trees, but they were also pulling buildings up and away and pulling faces off buildings so that you get the effects that you saw. So that actually was some out-of-sight camera making. But that's about as tricky as things got in terms of visual sleight of hand.
what's the difference between doing a Buster Keaton comedy and doing the Lon Chaney's that you've done in the past?
That's interesting. Actually, in this one, I found it was a little bit easier because there weren't so many really dramatic mood changes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more slapstick in this, so part of my role is just kind of emphasizing the slapstick a little bit, put some extra chops in, build some suspense when you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Whereas in the Lon Chaney, it was more like switching between romance and somebody about to be killed and people being thrown off of buildings and stuff. So it's a little bit different, but it's all fun and interesting. I just kind of do it spontaneously on the spot.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, excellent job. As you guys hopefully are aware, Eric improvised that entire score. Thank you all very much for coming. Eric Lee, Laura Nigro, see you in a couple of months.